Welcome to Linear Concepts, found in Cromerville. My name is Darren O'Donovan from EMBARC Restaurant. Today we're going to be utilizing one of the bespoke kitchens to cook a meal that you can recreate at home. So today we're going to be cooking off a beautiful ostrich and polenta dish. It's going to be found on our new spring menu, which is launching out in the next couple of weeks. And I have the benefit of working with Gaggenau appliances. Linear Concepts has the great relationship with them, so they've custom designed a variety of different styles in which you can obviously design it tailored to your home itself. I'm just going to go along and turn the oven on and get ourselves preset for the cooking of the ostrich. Perfect. I also do happen to have the hot warmer over here, so if you're wanting any warm plates through the course of the meal, you just grab and go, which is beautiful. Red light design just to inform that it is actually working itself. To begin with, what I'm going to start with is the marinating of the ostrich. So it's a handy little tip that I've learned over the years, utilizing 3 simple ingredients, but I'm just going to grab the ostrich itself. All right. So for the marinade of the ostrich, what we're looking at doing over here is taking equal parts of hoisin, chow suey, and soy sauce, and just rubbing that into the meat to incorporate a beautiful flavor profile. One thing I find very nifty about this kitchen is the beautiful tap here that's designed by Jesse Taps. And when you utilize it, you'll find that it starts off with a beautiful blue hue, and as you turn it to red, it starts to warm up, and naturally so too the colors start to change. So it's a great design to be able to see when it's actually running hot or when it's running cold. Awesome if you've got little kids that are involved and playing within the kitchen as well. As you can see, the color starts to change by itself. Beautiful color change. Okay, so we've got the ostrich marinating over here, utilizing the tap with this warmth. I'm going to make a little Egyptian dukkha that is going to add a beautiful crunch texture to it and adds a bit of an African, North African sort of flavor profile. Just going to grab a little frying pan out the drawer over here. There we go. And with the touchscreen display of Gaggenau, it's very simple to use and very effective. You can see absolutely everything that you need to through the display itself. It's got a timer, it's got everything that you possibly would need from that. Starting with the dukkha, we've got a variety of different ingredients and components here. It's a core base of coriander seeds, some cumin seeds, fennel seeds, and sunflower seeds. I'm going to equally toast these off and then just gently give them a bit of a crush. Toasting it off excretes a bit of the oils and adds that herbaceous sort of flavors coming from each of the different herbs itself. So again, I'm working with equal parts of coriander, equal parts of cumin, and equal parts of fennel. And just to cut down the amount of spice, I've added in 2 parts of that goes towards sunflower seeds. Based on the fact that this does become quite aromatic, I'm just going to lift up the extraction vent just to keep some of the fumes away if you are worried about your upholstery within the house itself. Handy that it comes with a light setting, and then obviously it sucks away. Okay, on the side of that as well, what I'm going to go along and cook is a lovely creamy polenta. It's a beautiful little accompaniment and acts as the starch component to the dish. Very simple to execute, very quick to execute as well. So I'm going to get a little pot of water on the boil. I'm going to add a bit of cream, a little bit of butter, and the polenta that slowly cooks through. And we're just going to emulsify it all together very easily. I'm going to grab the butter and cream out the fridge again. Touch screen for the fridges to open, which is also always very handy. Keeps the little kids out of it if you do have kids at home. Go. Okay, so we've added some butter and add a little bit of cream. So all the goodness in it. You can hear the seeds toasting off and toasting nicely. Okay, so I'm going to set the seeds aside that have been toasted off. You can smell all those beautiful aromatic aromas. I can smell the coriander and the fennel really coming through, and naturally it's flavor profiles that work exceptionally well with ostrich as well. So I'm going to set this aside and we'll just crumb it off a little bit later on. Benefit behind this as well is that it is completely heat resistant. We can go along and we can cook on this, cut on this. You can do absolutely everything on the counter itself. And then obviously Gaggenau with the appliances, that you can see it's heat resistant and it doesn't burn. It's instant turn off heat, instant induction heat, which obviously creates a very quick cooking process. You'll notice the entire dish is going to take me at least 10 minutes and you're going to have dinner prepared within 10 minutes itself. While I'm waiting for the water to get hot, I'm just going to grab another frying pan and get that ready for the ostrich. And sear off the ostrich, and we're going to finish it off in the oven, which I've preset to 180 degrees. The oven heats in a matter of minutes. It's 2 or 3 minutes and you're up to temperature, so very quick and eco-friendly as well. Okay. So we've got our cream and butter up to heat. I'm going to slowly add the polenta and let that start cooking away. And just keep it stirring just to ensure that it gets nice and thick. On the side I also have a beef jus, which is the beautiful saucing component. Quite a process to make, so I'm not showcasing that today, but essentially what we'll do is we'll finish the dish off with this beautiful jus, adds the saucy richness component, and really it creates a bit of an umami profile behind the dish. For the ostrich, what we're going to do is we're going to add a little bit of olive oil into the frying pan. Not too much, but not too little, just enough to prevent the ostrich itself from sticking. So that's heated through very quickly. I'm going to take the ostrich, give it a simple sear. I've got some extra butter, a little bit of garlic, and a little bit of thyme to add to that while it's going into the oven, just to add a bit of that beautiful herbaceous and earthy notes behind the dish. So our polenta is beautifully on the go over here. You can see it's starting to thicken quite nicely. A naughty indulgence is that I am going to add a little bit of cheese through it, just to add that beautiful richness and natural salt behind it as well. Ostrich on the first side has got a great sear. I'm just going to flip it over. There we go, starting to get some beautiful caramelization. I'm actually going to take the ostrich off of the heat now. I'm going to add a little bit of garlic and a little bit of thyme to the frying pan. Fantastic. Just peel off the garlic cloves. I've crushed them gently as well, just to excrete a lot of those natural oils. There we go. See. And pop that into the pan. Adding a little bit of butter as well, just for that richness and saltiness. You'll notice I haven't actually seasoned the meat in any way whatsoever. The soy sauce, hoisin, and chasu all has quite a high salt and sugar content, which essentially cures the meat for the short time that we have marinated it. And that will just obviously keep the natural seasoning and saltiness behind it. From here, the ostrich with the beautiful sear, a little bit of the thyme and garlic will go into the oven. Again, practicality, if your hands are dirty, I like to try and work a bit cleaner, but if you are a bit dirty, simply just touch the button and the oven opens. Very easy to open, very easy to use. And the big benefit is if you are dirty and messy, you just give it a good wipe down. And so it's clean again. Okay, so we're almost ready to start compiling our plate over here. Polenta, as you can see, is nice and thick, got a bit of a rich viscosity behind it. I'm going to, right at the end, just add a little bit of grated cheese for that richness and creaminess. Our jus is almost up to temperature, which, to be honest with you, a lot of shops these days sell beautiful packets of gravies and whatever, which is a great alternate for the saucing component. The dukkha we've now put and mixed together, which is a beautiful crumb over here, which I'm just going to throw over the top of the plate. I've added some fresh blueberries. Fruit with meat always is a great combination, and it adds a bit of a sweetness, it adds a bit of a sourness, really just complements the flavors of the dish very well. Gaggenau appliances, obviously beautiful equipment that are sustainable to work with this. Fantastic. Something that is nice to note as well is the moment you put something hot onto this induction stove, it warns you that it is hot and it's telling you at a temperature already, so that you know that it's not a cold pan or cold stove top. Beautiful. Ostrich looks fantastic. Right, the last thing we need to go along and do is just add a bit of the cheese into the polenta, and from there we can start compiling our plate and sit down and enjoy our meal. I'm very generous with the amount of cheese that I add. It always adds that beautiful creamy note and a little bit of the salinity and salt behind it as well, which is absolutely delicious with this. Probably gone for half a block over there. Go on. You'll see as it's cooked, it's thickened beautifully as well, giving you almost like a thick porridge consistency. So as we can see over here, we've got the polenta, we've got the ostrich that's just finishing resting in the frying pan, the blueberries and the dukkha as mentioned, and the jus. I'm going to grab the little fresh micro herbs out the fridge that will complete the plate, and grab the plates out of the warmer. One thing that I must say that I really love about the practicality of a kitchen that's well designed like this, as you would have noticed, I've done minimal steps. My watch wouldn't be too happy with me, but essentially I walk 2 steps here, 2 steps there, 2 steps here. You've got the means of absolutely everything in close proximity. Alright, so I'm going to line up all the ingredients here just so that we're prepared for plating. I'm going to take the ostrich and give that a quick slice, as well as take the plates out, and then we're ready to rumble. Oh, that's toasty. Okie, so the ostrich is now rested nicely. Place them on the board. You do also have these beautiful juices that you've cooked the ostrich with, which you can add into the jus. Adds all these beautiful rich flavors. The jus essentially is just a great reduction of all the flavor profiles. The bones, mirepoix, which is your onions, carrots, celery. We've added a bit of garlic and thyme running through it as well, just to add such a nice richness to the dish. And I think we're ready to start plating. Beautiful medium rare. Fantastic. Okay, I'm going to do 2 different styles of plating today, just to showcase 2 different forms. So we start off with a beautiful spoon of the polenta. We'll do 2 spoons for a larger portion. Placed beautifully on top. A little bit of black garlic mayonnaise that incorporates this rich sweetness. The dukkha crumb. A few little fresh blueberries. As mentioned, that acidity from the fruit adds such a beautiful, rich and fresh note behind it. And we've got that reduction. Really just zhuzhes up the plate. And then a few little micro herbs, really just to finish it off. Spring is in the air, so we've thrown a few little flowers on just to add a bit of a brightness and a color note behind it. So that is your one style of plating, which is absolutely fantastic if you're wanting to sit down and indulge a big meal. I'm going to do the second style over here, which is just maybe a little bit more refined, slightly smaller portion. 1 little spoonful over there. I'm going to slice up the ostrich a bit further. With a little bit of the black garlic mayo. A few of the little blueberries. Dukkha crumb. a little bit of the jus, and we'll pick out some of these beautiful micro herbs. As my French counterparts would say, et voila. Awesome, so now that we've got our ostrich dish complete, I think it's never a complete dish without a good glass of wine. So from here I'd like to introduce Kiara from Brookdale. She is the winemaker, and I'm going to put you to the test in terms of the perfect pairing with this, and to sample the food and tell me if you think your pairing works. So the ostrich dish itself.
Thank you, Ben.
Yeah.
This looks amazing.
Awesome. Grab your glass. And I see...
Don't forget one for yourself as well. Wine is best shared.
Absolutely. So I see you've actually gone with a Chenin as the pairing. Will you give me a bit of a reason as to why you've chosen a white?
So this is our Brookdale 2021 Chenin Blanc.
Yeah.
These vineyards were planted in 1985. So they are certified heritage vines.
Amazing.
And old vines give you this beautiful complexity and depth and concentration on the palate. So I find it very hard to find a food that doesn't go well with this wine.
I can imagine so. I'm sure you've got a beautiful rich texture from those old vines as well, extracting all the minerals.
Exactly. Beautiful minerality, lovely fresh acidity, and great texture.
Tell me, in terms of the wines that you make, what is your favorite? Whites, reds, stylistically, what do you go for?
I love to drink whites and I like to make red.
Yeah, I think that sums it up perfectly.
Yes.
Let's have
some Chenin.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Oh, beautiful aromas.
Some lovely floral aromatics there. I think it's going to pair very well with the polenta.
I think you're on the money with the polenta.
Yeah,
The creaminess, the richness, it just adds to that texture.
exactly.
And it's delicious.
And then it's got that oaky spice as well on the nose.
Picking up on the notes of the toasted dukkha that we've incorporated there. So we've got fennel and the cumin, as we mentioned earlier, which really should add to it beautifully.
Exactly.
Have a taste. Tell me what you think. They don't just taste, get stuck in.
Awesome. Let me grab a bit of that.
It's very giving as a dish.
Yeah.
All the flavors and the impacts of textures, and very much like the wine, as you said, it's textured, it's complex. It's just every sip that you take, it's just giving you a little bit more. It's just ever evolving and opening up in the glass, which is amazing.
Wow.
Nice combo.
Delicious.
So tell me, what other wines do you make at the farm?
So Brookdale is a fairly young estate. The property was purchased in 2015 and we uprooted a lot of the vines on the estate. And we've replanted with a lot of Mediterranean varieties. So we've got Chenin Blanc there. We've got Syrah, we've got a 16 varietal white field blend,
Sure.
a 20 varietal red field blend. We're currently making 8 wines.
Okay.
We've got a Mason Road range, which is our more lifestyle range. And then we've got the Brookdale, which is a cut up.
A little bit more premium.
Yes, exactly. Range. So in the Brookdale range, we've got the Chenin Blanc from vines planted in 1985. We've got the 16 white field blend. And then we've got our Bradbourne blend, which is a blend of Grenache Blanc, Marsanne, Roussanne, and Picpoul, which is it's a newer variety that I've been working with.
Very unique. I don't think I've heard of it
Yes.
before.
Exactly.
Right.
Well, a lot of the wines that we make, I make with the intention to pair really well with food. Gastronomic
I
wine.
assume being the region that you are being palmed, it is obviously deemed a bit more of a warmer climate. Mediterranean varietals obviously adapting better to the climate and the terroir.
Exactly. So we've worked with varieties that do well. So if we don't have water, I don't know if you recall, but in 2016 through to 18, we had the drought.
Massive drought.
In South Africa, everybody was carrying around buckets of water.
And this year the reverse, almost too much rain.
Exactly. We've had a fantastic winter this year.
Yeah.
So that was the time when we were planting all of our vines. And we planted these vines with the intention that, if we ever were to go through something that we went through, we would be prepared for it. So it's kind of...
Doomsday prepping.
well, you say doomsday prepping, I say planting for the future.
Oh, there we go. Exactly that.
There we go.
It's incredible.
Thank you.
Cool. Well, thanks for joining us.
Thank you so much.
Cheers again.
Cheers.
Cheers.